Hi, y'all. Today we are going to do law of sines part two. So we're talking about solving a triangle this time. So finding all the sides. So to solve a triangle is to find all the sides and angles. So we're going to use law of sines a couple times in order to find all the sides and all the angles. Right now, I know this side is 16. Right? And I know that that is across from this angle over here, 19 degrees. And then I also know 40 degrees. I know that that's across from the side over here, x. Right? So the first thing we can do is figure out what x is because we have two pairs. So I want to know what x is. And then x is over sine 40 because that's its pair. And then this is our side x. So we're going to do another side. Our other side is 16. And that is along with sine 19. We have our angles on bottom, right? So exactly what we were practicing in part one. So I'm going to go ahead and solve this by multiplying times sine 40 on both sides. So that'll cancel sine 40s and leave me with just x equals. All right. And then I'm going to use my calculator to figure out this part here. So I have 16 divided by sine 19. I want to check that this is in degrees, so I do that. And then I want sine 40 on the outside here, right? I get 31.5. You can also put sine 40 on the top if you want, like this. Sine 40, like that. Get the same number there, right? So 31.58. I'm going to go ahead and round this up to 31.6. 31.6. So that is x right here. Right? So instead of saying x, we could say, okay, x is actually equal to 31.6. So I can label my drawing like that. Okay. So now we have two sides and we have two angles. But as you know, triangles have three sides and three angles, right? So we also need to figure out this side, this angle right here, right? Angle B, and the side that's across from it, which we would call little b, right? Little b there. So the first thing that we can do to find the angle, to find a third angle, remember that a triangle has 180 degrees in it, right? It has 180 total degrees. And we already know that this one is 19 degrees and this one's 40. So those two angles are already used up. So we can take away the 40 degrees and take away the 19 degrees. And that's going to tell us what our third angle is. So I'm going to do 180 minus 40 minus 19, right? So I'm going to take away the angle I know, take away this angle here, and I can find this angle right there is 121. So 121 degrees is angle B, right? I want to box that because that's a part of our answer. That's one of the angles, one of the sides. And then on my drawing, I'm going to go ahead and write 121 degrees. 121. Now, since I know now this angle and I want to find this side, I'm going to do law of sines one more time, right? So for this one, I'm going to have B over, remember that B goes with 121, that's they're across from each other. So sine 121, just like that, is equal to, and I can use either of the other pairs. I can use 40 and 31.6, or I can use 19 and 16. I'm going to use 19 and 16 because it was one of the original ones, right? I couldn't possibly have messed that up because that's what they told me. So I'm going to have side 16 over sine 19 degrees because those are related to each other. Now I'm going to do law of sines one more time. Multiply times sine 121 to get rid of it. What I do on one side, got to do on the other. So I would have B equals And then over here, I already have oops, get up here. I already have the 16 over sine 19 on my calculator, so I'm just now going to multiply times sine 121, and I get 42.1, right? 42.1, that would be this long side here, which makes sense because it's the longest side. So that is my third side. Okay. So first I found one of the other sides, right? Then I used my two angles to find the third angle. And then I used that angle to find my third side. So I can write this down. My three sides are 16, 31.6, and 42.1. And my three angles are 19 degrees, 40 degrees, and 121 degrees. Right, so this is the final answer to my problem because I have solved for all three sides and all three angles, right, which is my ultimate goal, to solve a triangle. Okay, this is our notes for today. So you're going to take a picture of this, plug it into your assignment. Your assignment will look like this. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 problems. We're going to solve them together today in class. Let's go ahead and do number 1 on the video for those of you who are watching. So A equals something, B equals something. So here we want to solve for this. B, we want to solve for that. And the angle B, we want to solve for that. So first thing I'm going to do is figure out which ones go together. So I know 29 is going to go with 26. I know that 50 is going to go with A. And I know that B is going to go with B. Right? So I know those go together. For my first one, I want to choose one that has both numbers. So B and B, those are not numbers. This one has 50, but then it has A, which is not a number. This one has 29 and this one has 26. So that's the one I'm going to go with, right? So I'm going to use this one as a pair. And then for my second one, I want to use one that has a number and one letter, right? So a number 50 and one letter A. So that's the one I'm going to solve for. So I'm going to use this one here, A over sine 50, right? That's something that I can solve for. And then I don't need to solve any part of this one, right, is equal to 26 over sine 29, like that. So I have A over sine 50 equals 26 over sine 29. I'm going to go ahead and solve this by multiplying by sine 50, both sides. Cancel, cancel. A equals, in my calculator, 26 divided by sine 29 times sine, not cosine, sine 50. I get 41.1, right? So 41.1, that's my A. I'm going to put it right here. 41.1. I'm going to put it on my drawing. So A equals 41.1, just like that. So now I have my green pair, I have my yellow pair. Now I'm going to work on my red pair here, right? So remember that when I have two angles, I can take away those two angles from 180 to get this third angle. So for angle B, I'm going to do 180. Keep myself organized here. I'm going to do 180 minus 29 minus 50. So take away this angle, take away that angle, you'll have the leftovers. So minus 29 minus 50 is going to be 101. So 101 degrees equals B. So that's what I'm put right here, 101. And then on my graph, instead of saying B, I can put 101 degrees on my picture here. All right, so now I have my B degrees, and now I want to find my B side. So I'm going to have b over sine 101 because those go together, my red pair. And then I can either use my green pair or my yellow pair. I'm going to use yellow because those are whole numbers. I don't have a decimal in them. So I'm going to say, okay, is equal to 26 over sine 29. Go ahead and multiply by sine 101 on both sides. Leaves me with b equals, go back here, I already have this one written down, which is awesome. So I'm just going to change 50 to 101, and I get 52.6. 52.6 as my side B. So side B would be 52.6. These are my answers for number 1, and they already told me the other 2 angles and the other side. So that's how we're going to do number 1. Right? So it takes a few steps here, right? It takes a few steps. You're going to do law of sines a couple times, and then one time to figure out what your last angle is. Okay? You got it. Ask whatever questions you have.